We all know donkeys, the quiet companions we've seen carrying loads, walking dusty paths, or waiting patiently by the roadside. They've been part of human civilization for thousands of years, helping us travel, build, and survive. But behind their calm faces lies a crisis few are talking about. And experts warn that if this continues, within the next 15 to 20 years, donkeys could vanish from many parts of the world entirely. Today, we're diving into one of the most devastating and hidden trades happening right now across the globe. This is the story of Yijiao and how an ancient Chinese remedy is causing a modern-day massacre. Yijiao, pronounced Yijiao, isn't some new trend. It's a traditional Chinese medicine that's been around for over 2,000 years. But here's where things take a dark turn. Yijiao is made from donkey skin gelatin. The process? Honestly, it's brutal. Donkey hides are boiled to extract collagen. That then shaped into blocks or turned into powders and tonics. In traditional Chinese medicine, Yijiao is believed to help with everything from insomnia and dry coughs to anemia and even cancer. But there's almost zero scientific evidence to back up any of those claims. So why did a 2,000 years tradition become a modern problem? Well, originally Yijiao was a rare luxury, something only Chinese royalty could afford. But as China's economy skyrocketed, millions of people could buy what was once reserved for the elite. And then the demand exploded. Between 2016 and 2021, Yijiao sales surged by 160%. That's more than double in just 5 years. Now here's the chilling reality. Every single piece of Yijiao means the death of a donkey. We're not talking about lab-grown substitutes or modern alternatives. No. Every block, every packet, every pill is a life taken. Every single year, at least 5.9 million donkeys are slaughtered for their skins. That's nearly 10% of the entire global donkey population gone every year. The world's donkey population is sitting at roughly 53 million animals. And if nothing changes, experts warn we could lose half of them within the next 5 years. And the picture gets even darker when we zoom in on Africa. Africa is home to about 2/3 of all donkeys, around 35 million animals. But projections show that by 2040, half of those could be wiped out. And in some countries, it's already happening. Donkey populations have collapsed by 60% or more. Entire regional populations on the brink of extinction within our lifetime. So why is this happening? The answer lies in China's own donkey crisis. Back in 1990, China had over 11 million donkeys. By 2004, that number had already slipped to around 8 million. By 2018, only 2.6 million donkeys remained. And in 2024, estimates say fewer than 2 million are left. That's a staggering 77% decline in less than 3 decades. So why the collapse? China industrialized fast. Donkeys, once vital for transport and farming, were replaced by tractors, trucks, and machines. But just as donkeys were disappearing from the countryside, the demand for Yijiao was exploding among China's booming middle class. Right now, China needs between 8 to 10 million donkey skins every year to keep up with demand. But its domestic supply? Fewer than 1.8 million skins. That leaves a massive shortfall, over 6 million donkey skins that has to come from somewhere else. So, guess where they're getting them from? The answer is Africa. In rural Africa, donkeys aren't just animals, they're lifelines. For millions of families, especially women and children, donkeys mean survival. They haul water, transport goods to market, plow fields, and provide mobility that often makes the difference between poverty and sheer subsistence. A single donkey can carry up to 100 kilograms of goods. For a family living on less than $2 a day, losing that donkey often means losing their entire source of income. The Ejiao trade has turned donkey theft and slaughter into a booming black market. Across Africa, donkeys are stolen in the dead of night, shoved into trucks, and shipped off in horrific conditions. Up to 20% of them die during transport before they even reach the slaughterhouse. And those that do survive, the conditions are appalling. Donkeys crammed together without food, without water, without even space to lie down. Many arrive already dead, or so weak from dehydration, injury, and stress that they collapse before slaughter. But that's not even the worst of it. In many regions, donkeys are killed in what's called bush slaughter, remote, unregulated areas. No oversight, no humane methods, just raw, unthinkable suffering. Things got so dire that in 2023, the African Union took the unprecedented step of banning all donkey hide exports to China. Several nations, Kenya, Tanzania, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, all put bans in place. But here's the chilling reality. Enforcement is weak, and the illegal trade continues, thriving in the shadows. When donkeys vanish from African communities, the burden doesn't fall evenly. It lands hard on women and children. Women who once relied on donkeys to haul water now carry it on their own backs, walking for hours every single day. Children who should be sitting in classrooms, they're out in the hot sun, helping their families drag goods to market. In Kenya, before the donkey hide trade took off, there were about 1.8 million donkeys. By 2019, that number dropped to just 1.2 million. That's 600,000 donkeys gone, and with them, the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of families. Now about value. A healthy donkey in Africa is worth $100 to $200 over its lifetime to its owner in terms of the work it provides. But traders, they pay only $15 to $30 for that same donkey, which means families are losing 80 to 90% of their donkey's true value. And who benefits? International traders. But here's the part that's harder to measure: the emotional cost. In many African cultures, donkeys aren't just working animals. They're companions. They're part of the family. Children grow up with them, depend on them, even form bonds with them. So when a donkey is stolen or slaughtered, it's not only economic devastation, it's emotional trauma. Entire communities left grieving, not just for the loss of an animal, but for the loss of a family member. So, what's actually being done about this crisis? The response has been mixed, but there are some encouraging signs. The African Union stepped in with a bold move, a ban on all donkey hide exports. Several countries followed. This did cut down the legal trade, but it also drove much of it underground. Across Africa, law enforcement is constantly intercepting illegal shipments. But here's the harsh truth. Experts estimate that for every truck that gets caught, many more slip through undetected. And it's not just Africa. Other nations are stepping in. In 2023, the United States introduced something called the Ejiao Act. If passed, it would ban the import, export, and sale of Ejiao entirely. And this is huge, because believe it or not, the U.S. is the third largest importer of Ejiao products, spending around $12 million a year. That means American consumers, often without realizing it, are directly fueling this crisis. Beauty creams, health supplements, traditional remedies, many contain irreplaceable. And most people buying them have no idea what it even is, or the suffering behind it. Meanwhile, in China, a few companies are researching synthetic alternatives. The government has even begun discussing regulation. But the truth is, as long as demand stays sky high and enforcement stays weak, the slaughter will continue. The most promising change might not come from governments at all, but from consumers. More and more Chinese citizens are learning the truth, the cruelty, the devastation, the international fallout. And some are beginning to turn away from irreplaceable. But this change is happening slowly. And until it gains momentum, millions more donkeys will be lost. So, what can we do about this crisis? The solutions are here, but they require action at multiple levels. First, we need stronger international cooperation. This isn't just an African problem. It's not just a Chinese problem. The illegal wildlife trade is a global problem, and it needs global solutions. Countries must work together to track shipments, shut down smuggling routes, prosecute traffickers, and root out the corruption that keeps this trade alive. Second, we need consumer awareness, especially in China, but also in places like the United States, which is actually one of the top importers of irreplaceable. Most people buying these products have no idea about the cruelty behind them. Education campaigns can change that. When people know the truth, demand drops. Third, we need to invest in alternatives. The technology already exists to create synthetic irreplaceable. No animals required. With the right support and funding, these alternatives could replace donkey-derived irreplaceable entirely. Fourth, we have to support the communities that are suffering the most. In Africa, losing a donkey doesn't just mean losing an animal. It means losing survival itself. Programs that provide shelters for donkeys, protect against theft, or help families rebuild their herds can make an enormous difference. And there are organizations fighting on the front lines right now. Groups like the Donkey Sanctuary, Brook, and the Animal Welfare Institute. They're rescuing donkeys, supporting families, pushing for policy change, and shining a spotlight on this crisis. We need to recognize that this isn't just about animals. It's about human rights. The irreplaceable trade is stealing livelihoods from some of the world's poorest people to create luxury products for some of the world's wealthiest consumers. And that is why this fight matters. Here's what you can do right now to help stop this crisis. First, share this video. The biggest weapon we have against the irreplaceable trade is awareness. Most people have never heard of irreplaceable or the donkey crisis. By sharing this information, you're helping to build the global awareness needed to create change. Second, check your products. If you use traditional Chinese medicine, beauty products, or health supplements, research whether they contain irreplaceable. Look for alternatives that don't require animal products. Third, support organizations working on this issue. Groups like the Donkey Sanctuary and Brook are on the front lines of this fight, rescuing animals, supporting communities, and lobbying for change. Even small donations can make a difference. Remember, we're talking about 5.9 million donkeys killed every year for a product with no proven medical benefits. We're talking about entire populations of working animals disappearing,
leaving millions of families in deeper poverty. We're talking about a crisis that could eliminate half the world's donkeys within our lifetime.
The next time you see a donkey, remember this: you're looking at one of humanity's oldest, most faithful partners. For thousands of years, donkeys have carried our burdens, transported our goods, and helped build our civilizations. And in return, they've asked for nothing except the most basic care and respect. Today, we have a chance to give that loyalty back. A chance to save millions of innocent lives and protect the futures of millions of families who depend on them. Thank you for watching. And remember, every share, every donation, every single conversation you start about this issue is one step closer to ending the Ijao crisis. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.